Hello, everybody. So today I will be refuting the arguments made by my fellow classmate who proposed that the financial future of local government is threatened by a lack of approach to potholes. Her secondary claims used to support her argument were that first, pothole costs are substantial, second, legislation issues could cost cities millions, and third, that prioritizing potholes will protect citizens. I will disprove the reasoning behind her proposition by elaborating on her contradiction in the first claim, expose her redundant evidence and assumptions in the second claim, and diminish the integrity of the evidence given in her third claim. Disclaimer, I will not be denying the fact that there needs to be a rapid solution to potholes, but rather prove to you the fallacies she constructed her argument off of. First, she presented her first claim that pothole costs are substantial without providing a clear understanding of the argument she's going to make to you as the audience. Are potholes substantial to fix, to people affected, or our local government? It isn't until she provides her first piece of evidence that potholes cause vehicle damage that a bit more understanding is given of where she's leading her audience. Her other piece for this first claim migrated to road closures due to limited resources, quoting that by not plowing and salting a 2-mile stretch of road in Orleans County every winter, the state saves about $70,000 a year. This evidence provided ultimately weakens her first claim as it points out a shortcut that deflects from repairing potholes so that local governments end up actually saving money every year. This is a direct contradiction to her main proposition that failure to approach potholes threatens the financial futures of local governments. Jumping to her second claim that legislation issues could cost cities millions, we can begin to see a replication of her argument and evidence given in her first claim. To defend the second claim, she states that potholes can cause city residents to spend large amounts of money, a direct parallel to her vehicle damage declaration given earlier. This assertion is followed up with 2 more facts regarding car issues and repair fees, essentially reducing her variety of proof given and further weakening her overall argument. The other evidence for this second claim assumes that people's tax dollars might not be used to fix the road. She used a hypothetical testimony to try and affirm her reasoning with, I quote, "You can hear the moans out on the road from drivers. Hey man, I don't give 2 hoots about driverless cars. The one I'm driving in right now is the most important thing to me, so use the money for the roads." Now, are we to conclude that no money is used on the roads because of a hypothetical statement given? If I've learned anything in this class, I'd say no chance. Therefore, the reasoning behind this claim carries no weight and shapes the proposition into a pothole of its own. Lastly, her third claim that prioritizing potholes will protect citizens was followed up with her assertion that potholes are the cause of many fatal accidents. Her evidence for this portion states that motorcyclists specifically have an increased risk for serious and fatal injuries due to the road conditions that potholes create. However, according to the legal resources provided by an international law organization's website titled hg.org, road defects like potholes only cause about 2% of all motorcycle accidents. This is 1% more than motorcycle accidents caused by animals. And out of the top 10 most common causes of motorcycle accidents provided by public attorneys Politis and Madovina from justiceattorneys.com, road defects like potholes ranked number 9 on this list. Below unsafe lane changes, open car doors, speeding, driving under the influence, and lane splitting being the top 5. Therefore, the data she used, while accurate, is actually so rare and insignificant that it has very little backing to support her last claim thoroughly. In conclusion, the overall proposition that she stated gives a vague perception of what her reasoning for the speech was. Whether the gist is that potholes need to be repaired or that local governments need to be more aware of the people and pot-related issues, there is a distinct level of uncertainty in the proposition that needed to be clear to you as the audience. I hope that my proof of the advocate's inconsistencies are enough to be certain to you as a class, and I want to thank you for listening.
All right, well, you ID'd the claims much more clearly than I thought was going to be possible. It was pretty straightforward. You laid out your secondary positions pretty clearly at the beginning of the speech and how you're going to address those issues. I think you did a good job fulfilling your part of the argument, suggesting that there are problems in the way the advocate reasoned, insufficiencies in the evidence they presented, inconsistencies in some of the claims. And you demonstrated answers to most of those points. I still think there's a lot of ambiguity as to what it is that both sides are arguing here. However, that benefits your side in the long run because any uncertainty about what the advocate is suggesting is a reason not to accept their position. I thought you had some interesting information about this spending money on potholes, but especially on the accidents on motorcycles on that third point. I thought that was an interesting way to go after that argument. The notion that there's a lack of evidence on the second point for spending on potholes, I thought was, you challenged the advocate's kind of hypothetical quote from a hypothetical person who's suggesting that that's not really that driverless cars are less important to him than getting the potholes fixed. And where's the evidence that potholes are not being fixed, that we don't have the money to fix the potholes, any of those kinds of things? I think those are reasonable presses to be making at this point. I thought you explained your position very clearly for the most part, and at the end, if I was being asked to make sense of it, I would say that some of the claims that you're making make this a little bit more rational than the original argument, because I can tell exactly what it is you're arguing for. All right, thank you.